I don't think we could have found a better mooring. This is Retford. I might have mentioned actually that down there is the brew shed, and for those who follow my little wibblings, if you don't know what the brew shed is, shame on you.
With me in.
Well, you are now, yeah. Right, boys and girls. I don't know where to start. Well, I do know where to start. We'll start with this wonderful chap here,
Stood looking like a teen.
who I've just wasted a couple of hours of his time in his natural habitat, which is very strange. And YouTubers will recognise where I am, and homebrewers will recognise where I am. And it is very strange. Stood in the middle of something that you've watched on YouTube for so much with Chris and Gemma. Is Gemma?
Yeah, Gemma's round the corner.
I'm going to have to get Gemma in here because
She's always camera shy, though, you know.
all right, I won't do much from Gemma. There you go. Thank you, Gemma. And we had coffee, and yeah, and I'm still a little bit speechless because this chap and this wonderful woman here and this wonderful little setup has been responsible for many a long YouTube sesh watching when I'm bored and really should be doing some work. So if you want to know why I haven't been doing some work, it's probably because of all this. And just little things like remembering sticking a piece of guttering in the roof when the roof was leaking and whatever. And this rather impressive pilot kit, which was sort of responsible for me buggering around with learning how those three different tanks work together. So thank you, Chris. I'm not going to do it much more because I do wibble on when I do these.
Well, you've not really been in the brewery. You've not that's as far south as you've got so far.
Well, this is. I mean, it's almost like a trip to Lord's if you're a home brewer. Yeah. So match tun, kettle, just like, yes, impressive. Have to say, still very, very much a fanboy. Sorry about that. Haven't bought a t-shirt because they haven't got any. But there you go. But I'm going to take some proof of concept away. That's it for this, boys and girls. Thank you, Chris. The brew shed's run by a guy called Chris. He's got a YouTube channel, Harry Brew 69, and this is his brewery and pub, which he runs with his wife and brother, and he has made a wonderful job of it. It is beautiful in there, a beautiful beer garden, which is actually, considering this whole thing about reasonable adjustments, it's actually accessible. That whole beer garden is accessible. It's not designed to the standards that you would expect if you were building a new building for wheelchair access. But as far as making reasonable adjustments, he's actually gone out of his way to make it accessible. I can't believe we can see our boat from here. This is great, look. You've made a lovely job of this.
Thanks, mate.
He's gone into cameraman mode.
I have.
Don't break the third window.
This is where I speak properly now. I either need to speak properly or start swearing, otherwise people won't believe it's me. So, no, this is lovely. Your videos are brilliant, but this is outstanding. It's fantastic. From that little bed that you had up against that wall,
Yeah.
to this now is, yeah, that's a real.
Paint for a skip to get rid of all that spoil. So
No, well, quite.
all around it.
All it needs really is the capping on those pillars.
Yeah, I know, mate. That's a sore subject at the minute.
Oh, I spotted that yesterday.
Yeah,
He's
I
been-
thought I'll
he's
write
been
my name
tagging.
there. This off soon.
Well done, fantastic.
He's going to cap it off.
But these,
Be annoying. I know it is.
look, we came through there.
I did make one, but it fell in half when I picked it
You
up.
finish all these. You haven't actually touched all the paint to the coat.
Right, I'm going to stop making a tit of myself now. I'm just going to finish this video, say thank you Gemma, Chris and Spider. That's it. Brew Shed, Retford. It's a stunning little beer garden. It's a lovely little pub stroke tap room. Beautiful little restaurant and a wonderful brewery, which I think you might have sort of like, I don't know, before this bit here, before me filming this, I don't know how, because I've been doing these bits of video over the last few days, so I don't know what order they're actually going to be in, because I can't really remember making many of them. But we've had a couple of days in Retford. It's wonderful. If you haven't had a chance to visit Retford, do. It's got nice local shops, it's got a nice little pedestrianised high street, some lovely kind of like little cafes and stuff. I love it. It's beautiful. Anyway, we are now about to head on towards Shire Oaks. We're going up to Middle Lock today. We're going to have more by the woods. Going to run Marley, aren't we? Around the woods a little bit. Chase some rabbits and squirrels maybe, I don't know, we'll see. But yes, back at Retford on Monday. What's today? Thursday, I think. So yes, Middle Lock, Forest Lock tonight, Shire Oaks tomorrow, then walk up to the tunnel entrance, walk back, come back here. We're back here Monday, and then we're back up the Trent on Wednesday. But look at this weather. Absolutely stunning. What an absolute treat at the beginning of September to have such wonderful weather. And this has been a beautiful little stop in Retford. So thanks to everybody that we've met in Retford. Woman with a little Alsatian puppy especially, because now we want a friend for Marley. Where we ate last night at number 5, brilliant. Everyone at the Brew Shed, Chris, Gemma. We met this guy Spider, who I've sort of like been friends with on Facebook for ages, but eventually managed to catch up with. What a wonderful little trip this has been. So until the next amazing, enthralling episode, boys and girls, this has been Retford, and I love it. I really do love it. Thank you. Seems like a long time since we've been in Narrow Locks. I can't remember when the last... Where were we? I don't know, can't remember. But Narrow Locks are literally what define the maximum size of the boat for that particular waterway. So a narrow boat, well this one is 6'11", or 6'10.5". If we're going through Stand Edge Tunnel, because they won't let you through if you're 6'11" wide. So even though the canal might be an awful lot wider, the boat can only be as wide as the locks. Now, as we go up, we're not actually going to go to the top of the locks past Shire Oaks because they're closed off at the moment. However, some of those are exactly give us exactly about 1 centimetre either side of this boat. That's the tolerances that we're working to, which is why you've got to make sure you take the fenders off, or you could get stuck in the lock. Right. So this, Retford, there, whoops, Brew Shed, there, oh, our future, Shire Oaks and beyond. Well, not actually, Shire Oaks and then turn around and come back. I couldn't resist getting a little bit of video coming through here. Isn't that just beautiful? This is, I don't know, 15-20 minute walk out of Retford along the canal. And what about this weather? Very, very much do, and always have, like the Sheffield to Staveley 2-week holiday. It works perfectly for 2 weeks. We're not going to manage to get to the top of the Chesterfield Canal, but as a 2-week jaunt from Sheffield out through Rotherham, Doncaster, turn right, go through Thorn, out to Kidby, down the Trent into West Stockwith, up through Retford where we've been for 2 days, Worksop, and then up to Staveley. If the flight of locks at the top are open, which they're not at the moment, then we go up to the top to where the old tunnel was, more up there overnight, and then come back. It is beautiful. People don't do the Chesterfield Canal because they're frightened of doing the Trent. Really, seriously, don't be frightened of doing the Trent. If you've got a boat, you've got to do, and it's a narrow boat obviously, you've got to do the Chesterfield Canal at some point. Don't be frightened of the Trent. If there's going to be a problem on the Trent, the lock keepers won't let you out onto the Trent. But look at this, this is just beautiful. Well, according to my little cruising log, well, I always keep a cruising log because when you're out on board, you never know what day it is. So I keep a log. Today's Friday apparently. How did that happen? So this is day 7 of our little 2020 getaway, and this is Forest Middle Lock, and up there, all through that lot there, are just masses and masses of woods. Last time we was here, I went off with Max, who's Marley's predecessor, and I think we just sort of like wandered, lonely as a cloud, in woods. Today our mission is to get to Shire Oaks, which is, I think, about 8 miles and 14 locks. And look at, again, the weather is definitely on our side. Can't believe how lucky we've been with the weather. Right, back soon. Well, this has been a somewhat interesting little leg of the trip from Forest Middle Lock. We're now in Worksop, and there's been lots of this stuff. Now, you normally wouldn't really see a lot of this in the sort of like town sections, but there's loads of it. You're right, guys. You guys don't mind, do you? Do you mind? No, you don't. Of course they don't. But this and the pound before, remarkably low. The water's probably down about six inches to what it should be. And the first time we came through here, all this was derelict. This little straddle warehouse. A lot of history in Worksop. I wonder how many people are going to be sat on the wall of the pub as we come up through the lock. But here we go. Very, very hard going. Let's hope that the next few pounds, or the stretch between here and Shire Oaks, isn't quite as shallow, or it'd be easier for me to get out, walk along the middle of the canal and pull the boat behind me. One could be forgiven for thinking one is in the middle of the idyllic countryside, middle of nowhere, until one sees the thing about travelling around on canals, and something that is always for me a constant source of amusement, is the relationship between the canals and everything else. Because you have a little canal in the middle of you have a canal in what seems like the middle of nowhere, and then on the other side of the bank you might have a council estate with cars burning out and police chases and drug dealers shooting each other. But when you're on the canal, you're actually a million miles away from all that most of the time. I don't even know what that is. That could be the A1 or the A10,000, don't know. I'd need to look on the map. But that's again part of the beauty of being on canals, is that you're in your own little time frame, your own blissful, beautiful, idyllic little world. Anyway, back to the fact that all of these things seem to coexist in perfect harmony. That's enough for now. It was the A57. I've just looked on the map.